There's a lot at stake for us too. If we see a second Trump presidency, it's hard to predict, but what would you see for something like AUKUS? Is that a concern, or is that going to have bipartisan support no matter what?
There are a few areas of bipartisan support in the U.S. right now. It's pretty polarized, but there are a few that I would highlight. One is they agree that there's not a lot of bipartisan support. So a lot of Americans agree that their politics are not doing great right now. But beyond that, there are some notable exceptions. I think number one is that you're seeing a bipartisan support of standing up to China and in terms of having a more working with friends and allies to really get China to not be as sort of aggressive in its foreign policy to solidify American leadership in the world. But number two, and this is something that goes back many decades, through the 50s and 60s, and that is having U.S. friends and allies spend more on their defense. So burden sharing. Allies spending more to really help the U.S. support a rules-based order. And on both those fronts, in terms of standing up to China and having allies spend more on their defense, AUKUS aligns perfectly. And so I think Trump may win, maybe Haley wins, maybe Joe Biden wins again. In all of those scenarios, I really have a hard time imagining there not being support for AUKUS in the U.S. in particular. If anything, I think the one thing that we need to do in terms of those who think that AUKUS is in Australia's strategic interests is really sell it to Australians, because it is going to be a sizable amount of money that Australia is investing, and it's going to be multi-generational. And so the support for AUKUS has to remain strong in Australia in particular.
Well, Jared, thanks so much for your time. Really fascinating chat. Appreciate it.
My pleasure.